You're welcome, viewers and students, to this channel. This is A-Startutors Academy. For your inquiries and online classes, you can contact me on this WhatsApp or call me directly. This is where we treat various topics that students may be having challenges in them in chemistry and other sciences too. We treat past questions, exam likely questions, be it WAEC, NECO, GCE, post-Utme, or other examinations even outside the country. Today we shall be looking at JAMB or Utme 2026 chemistry question and answer, the first batch questions, question 1 to 40. The first question: which method is suitable for separating iodine from sand? The correct option to this question is B, that's sublimation. We are all familiar with various separation techniques. Separation techniques are physical methods that are applied in separating the constituents of mixture by taking advantage of the differences in their properties, most importantly the physical properties such as color, melting point, boiling point, and so on. Now, the suitable method for the separation of iodine from sand is sublimation, because both solids are insoluble in water. When they are not soluble in water, it means we cannot apply filtration or decantation. Those two methods requires the addition of water, which will dissolve one of them, leaving the other insoluble. So we cannot apply filtration and decantation because neither of the two solids is soluble in water. And that is why option A and D are incorrect. For option D, distillation. Distillation is not applicable because distillation is a separation process meant for separating a mixture of miscible liquids or for separating a solvent from a mixture. For instance, you can use distillation to recover water from a mixture of sand and water. We can use the distillation process to separate miscible liquids like a mixture of ethanol and water with a slight difference in their boiling point or a wide difference in their boiling point, as the case may be. But for this mixture, iodine and sand, the most appropriate and applicable method for separating them is sublimation. Sublimation requires heating the mixture of solids such that one of the solids will convert to gas directly. It changes to vapor, and on cooling it changes back to pure solid form, and that is iodine. Why sand cannot be sublimed? It remains in the bowl which the mixture is containing, or which contain the mixture. So the correct answer is B. Question number 2. Question number 2. We want to calculate the oxidation number of sulfur in H2SO4. There are certain rules that every student needs to have known or be familiar with, which are called the rules of oxidation number. With the knowledge of the rules of oxidation number, the student will be able to calculate the oxidation number of the elements. Here we are calculating the oxidation number of sulfur. So the oxidation numbers of the other elements, which are hydrogen and oxygen, will have been known. For hydrogen, oxidation number of hydrogen in most compounds is +1. In a few compounds like the metallic hydride, it is -1, but this compound is not a metallic hydride. So the oxidation number of hydrogen will be taken as +1, +1. For oxygen, oxidation number of oxygen in most compounds is -2, -2. In some compounds like peroxide, mainly peroxide, the oxidation number of oxygen atom is -1. But this compound is not a peroxide, So the oxidation state of oxygen will be taken as -2, -2. The oxidation state of sulfur, we can make that to be represented by a letter, let's say X. We are going to find the value of X. So how do we calculate? Substitute the oxidation numbers into the formula and you work it out. So we have 2 into brackets +1 plus 1 atom of sulfur into bracket X, which is what we are looking for, plus 4 atoms of oxygen into -2. And the sum, the algebraic sum of these oxidation numbers is equal to 0. Why is it 0? Because it is a compound, it is neutral. So we work it out further. +2 plus X minus 8 equals 0. And this will give us X equals 0 plus 8 minus 2. When you carry the numbers to the other side, their sign will change. And here we are going to have +8 minus 2. And the answer is +6. So it means the oxidation number of sulfur in this compound is +6. And that is why the name of that compound is H2SO4 by IUPAC naming is tetraoxosulfate 6. The 6 you hear in the name refers to the oxidation states of sulfur in that compound, tetraoxosulfate 6. So the correct answer is +6, which is option C. Let's go to question number 3. Question number 3 says, which process is exothermic? I know students of chemistry would have been familiar with the 2 main types of chemical reactions based on change in their energy, change in their heat energy, or what you can call the enthalpy change. When you refer to exothermic is a process, is when a process occurs by losing heat to the surroundings. The other one is endothermic, that is when a process occurs by absorbing or gaining heat from the surrounding. So exothermic and endothermic processes are based on whether there is loss or gain of heat between the system and the surroundings. So in this case, melting ice is a process, is a physical process. Melting of ice requires gaining of heat by the ice from the surroundings, so it is endothermic. Evaporation requires gaining of heat. The liquid needs to gain heat from the surrounding to evaporate, so it is endothermic. Sublimation also requires heating. Any process generally or any reaction that requires gaining heat for it to occur, it is endothermic. But neutralization is a process that is exothermic because when acid is neutralized by an alkali or a base, heat is always released to form salt and water only. So the correct answer is option B, neutralization. Neutralization is an exothermic process because in the formation of water and salt, heat is released, and that is the reason why during neutralization of an acid with an alkali or a base, the container feels warm. When you carry out a process or a container, especially chemical reaction, and the container feels hot or warm, it means that reaction is exothermic. So the option B is correct. Let's go to the next question. The next question is, what is the molecular formula of benzene? For science students, you all know what benzene is. Benzene is an aromatic hydrocarbon. Benzene is an aromatic hydrocarbon and highly unsaturated in nature. The correct answer here is B. The correct answer here is B. It's an aromatic and cyclic hydrocarbon that is highly unsaturated. This is the structure of benzene. For those who are not familiar with the structure, you have 6 carbon atoms joining together to form an hexagon as follows. You have 6 carbon atoms and you have alternating double bonds. If you have a double bond here, there will be a single bond in between. The next one is double bond. The next one is single. So single, double, single, double. So there are 3 alternating double bonds between the carbon atoms in the molecule. Then to each carbon atom is attached 1 hydrogen atom, as you can see. This is the planar structure of a molecule of benzene. This is the planar structure of a molecule of benzene. And when you count the number of carbon atoms, we have 6 carbon atoms. And the number of hydrogen atoms, you have 6 too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 6 hydrogen atoms. So the molecular formula of benzene is C6H6. So the correct option is B. The correct option is B. Molecular formula simply means the formula representing one molecule of a substance, be it element or compound. Benzene is a compound, and don't forget, benzene is described as an aromatic cyclic. All aromatic compounds are cyclic because they are attached to the benzene structure, the cyclic structure of benzene. So all aromatic compounds are cyclic in nature. They are cyclic hydrocarbons, and they are also highly unsaturated. Benzene is an aromatic, cyclic, and highly unsaturated hydrocarbons. The answer is B. The other options, the first option there, A, is an alkene, and it can as well be a cyclohexane. That molecular formula C6H12 can either be a normal straight chain hexene, or it can as well represent the molecular formula of cyclohexane. Cyclohexane is C6H12, and it shares the same formula with a normal straight chain hexene, C6H12. Option C is not benzene. Option C is not benzene. Option D is an alkane. An alkane. That is a saturated hydrocarbon, which is specifically named as methane. So for this question, the correct molecular formula of benzene is B, option B. Question number 5. Temporary hardness of water is caused by what? The answer is B. That is calcium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4. There are 2 main types of hardness of water. We have temporary hardness, which can easily be removed by boiling of the water. On boiling the water, what is the cause of the hardness, which is calcium or magnesium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4, will be decomposed by heat, and the hardness will be precipitated as the normal triazocarbonate for either CaCO3 if the cause of the temporary hardness we consider is calcium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4, or it can be precipitated as MgCO3 if it is magnesium triazocarbonate 4. Temporary hardness is hardness that is caused by the dissolved calcium or magnesium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4 in water and can easily be removed by boiling. This is the question of how it is removed by boiling. Look at it. Calcium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4. Calcium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4 in the water, that's aqueous. On heating or boiling, when you boil, it's going to decompose to form the insoluble calcium triazocarbonate 4, which is a white solid. then the water, and in the process, because it's a hydrocarbon, CO2 gas is released. This is the equation of how the temporary hardness caused by calcium hydrogen tricarbonate fault can be removed by boiling the water. So this solid will precipitate out, and in separating it completely, we allow the water to settle down, and we can simply decant or filter the water out. So while the insoluble white solid remains behind in the container or on the filter paper. So the temporary hardness is caused by calcium hydrogen tricarbonate 4. The option is B. The option is B. All other options are salt. They do not contribute hardness to water in any form, so they are incorrect. Question number 6. And before I go to question number 6, the other type of hardness of water, for your knowledge sake, or as a reminder, there is what we call permanent hardness. Permanent hardness cannot be removed by boiling except by chemical methods or by simple distillation process. That's the physical process that can soften permanently hard water. But the other methods are chemical methods of softening permanently hard water. The causes of permanent hardness in water are the dissolved salts of calcium and magnesium, which are chlorides and sulfates, mainly chlorides and sulfates. For instance, when distilled water dissolves calcium chlorides, it will introduce permanent hardness to that distilled water, so it becomes permanently hard. Or when you dissolve a sulfate salt of magnesium or calcium in the water, it becomes permanently hard water. So permanent hardness cannot be softened by boiling, but by either distillation, which is a physical process, or by chemical methods. But temporary hardness can be softened, can be removed by boiling of the water. So the correct option here is B. Question number 6. The gas evolves when zinc reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid as represented by the equation below. What is the gas? The answer is hydrogen, C. Let me try to shed more light on this reaction. This kind of reaction is a reaction we describe as the action of dilute acid on reactive metals. According to reactivities of metals that are reactive, if you are very familiar with the activity series of metal, there are some metals above hydrogen and there are some below hydrogen. Those that are above hydrogen, they are described as reactive metals. Those that are below, they are described as non-reactive metals. The metals above hydrogen in the activity series are those ones that can react with dilute acid to form the salt of the metal and the acid and liberate hydrogen gas. Whenever there is a reaction between a metal and any acid, dilute acid, the gas that is released, that is produced, is hydrogen. Hydrogen gas is produced by the action of dilute acid such as HCl, hydrochloric acid, H2SO4, tetrahydrobic acid, or dilute triazonitrate 5 acid HNO3. The action of this dilute acid on the reactive metals will form a salt and liberate hydrogen gas. So the correct option is C. The correct option is C. Question number 7. Which of the following is a noble gas? The correct answer is C. Students of chemistry who are familiar with their periodic table or charts will know that noble gases are elements that are found in group 0 on the periodic table. Check your periodic table. The last column on the periodic table, which you call the group 0, there you find the noble gases. Noble gases are diatomic molecular gases. They are gases and they are diatomic molecular gases. They are called noble gases because they are chemically unreactive. And what makes them unreactive chemically is because their outer shell or outermost shells are completely filled with electrons. Any atom whose outermost shell is completely filled with electrons is going to be chemically unreactive. So it becomes inert. We can call them inert gases too. Noble or inert or rare gases, but mostly noble gases. So the correct answer here is neon, C, option C. Option C. Question number 8 is about the pH of a solution. The pH of an acidic solution is below 7, less than 7. We are all familiar with pH of a solution. What is pH? For the benefit of those of you who might have forgotten what pH of a solution is, I would like you to listen to this. To define pH of a solution, the pH of a solution can be defined as the degree or the measure of the concentration of hydrogen ions in a solution. The first way is a measure of the concentration of hydrogen ions or hydrozonium ion, that is H3O plus, in a solution. What is the concentration of the hydrogen ions? What is the concentration of the hydrozonium ion or hydrogen ion in that solution? That defines the pH of that solution. We can also define pH of a solution as the degree of the acidity or alkalinity of that solution. The measure of the degree of acidity or alkalinity of a solution is also pH. We can also define pH of a solution as the negative logarithm to Benzene of the hydrogen ion concentration or the hydrozonium ion concentration of a solution. The negative logarithm to Benzene of the hydrogen ion or hydrozonium ion concentration of a solution is also defined as pH. Now, according to pH scale, we are all familiar with the pH scale. That's a number line that is ranging from 0 to 14. So the pH of any solution lies between 0 and 14, which are the limits. When a pH is 7, it shows that it is neutral. When a pH is less than 7, it shows that the solution is acidic. But when the pH is above 7, it shows that the solution is alkaline. So based on the 3 pH ranges, pH less than 7 is acidic. pH equal to 7 is neutral. pH greater than 7 is alkaline or basic. So for this question, the pH of an acidic solution is going to be below 7, less than 7. So the correct option is C. Let's go to question number 9. The IUPAC name of CH3COOH is what? The answer is ethanoic acid. Ethanoic acid, that's option B. Let me try to shed more light on this question and the options. This acid is a member of the homologous series we call carboxylic acid, precisely aliphatic carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid are also what we call the arachidonic acid. Arachidonic, carboxylic, or arachidonic acid. That is the homologous series. They are called arachidonic acid. And carboxylic acid are characterized or identified by the presence of this functional group. This is what we call this carboxy group or carboxylic group. Carboxy or carboxylic group is a functional group that defines and describes carboxylic acid. Now, methanoic acid, ethanoic acid, propanoic acid are all members of this homologous series. Methanoic acid is not correct because the total number of carbon atoms in this molecule is 2. So methanoic has 1, and that is to say that that is not the correct name. Ethanoic acid is when there are 2 carbon atoms. So this has 2 carbon atoms. Propanol has 3 carbon atoms altogether. Ethanol does not belong to the family. Ethanol belongs to the homologous series we call the alkanols. These are members of carboxylic acid we represent by this general formula. Why this one belongs to the alkanols we represent by this formula. So the correct answer is B, because there are 2 carbon atoms. Whenever you see melts, it means 1 carbon atom is present. This is HCOOH. There's 1 carbon atom, melts. For ethanoic, there are 2 carbon atoms. So you have CH3, CH3COH. That is what you have in that question. Prop, that means there are 3 carbon atoms. So the correct name is ethanoic acid. Let's go to question number 10. The atomic number of an element is equal to what? This is a definition of atomic number of an element. For those of you that still remember what we were taught in school about atomic number of an element is usually defined as the number of protons in the nucleus of an atom of the element. Let me say it again. The number of protons present in an atomic nucleus of an element is called the atomic number. For instance, if the nucleus of an atom of an element contains 10 protons, that means the atomic number is going to be 10. And let me also tell you the importance of atomic number of an element. We use atomic numbers of elements to arrange them on the periodic table. According to the modern periodic table, the elements are arranged according to their atomic numbers in increasing order. So if an element's atomic number is 10, that means it has 10 protons in the atom, and so on. So the correct answer is B, protons. If you are talking about mass numbers, mass number is the sum of number of protons and neutrons in the nucleus of an atom. And a combination of protons and neutrons is what we call nucleon. This is a particle which has no charge. This is a positively charged particle that is inside the nucleus, which represents the atomic number. This nucleon means a combination. A nucleon is a combination of protons and neutrons inside the nucleus. Combination of protons and neutrons is what we call nucleon. Isotopes, we are familiar with that too. Isotopes are 2 or more atoms of the same element. Don't forget, of the same element, or you can say of an element. Isotopes are 2 or more atoms of an element or of the same element which have the same atomic numbers but different mass numbers. So back to this option, the correct option is B. Question number 11. Cartons are discharged at where? This is talking about electrolysis. For those of you that still remember the concept of electrolysis in the electrolytic reaction, inside the electrolytic cell, you have the electrolytes and you have the 2 electrodes. One is called anode, that's the positive electrode, which is usually on the left hand side by drawing. The other one is called cathode, which is a negative electrode. During the electrolysis, we are made to understand that the positive ions in the electrolytes, will migrate to the negative electrode, which is cathode. The positive ions, which are called the cations, they migrate to the cathode. And that's the reason why we call them cations. Cation means cathode ions. Cations means cathode ion, that is ions that are attracted to the cathode. And we are familiar with the fact that in the law of electrostatic attraction, positive attracts negative. So if this electrode is negative, then the ion that will be attracted to it must be positive. So the positive ions that migrate and are attracted to the cathode or discharge at the cathode are cations. So the cations are discharged at cathode. Salt bridge is used in electrochemical cells. That's the one that divides or that connects two half cells together. Electrolyte is a compound that can allow the passage of electric current and become decomposed in the process. Usually it is ionic. Usually electrolytes are ionic in nature, mostly ionic. And if it is a salt, the salt will either be in aqueous solution or in molten form before you can conduct electricity and become decomposed in the process. Now back to this question, the correct option is B. That is the negative electrode to which the cations in the electrolytes migrate to during electrolysis. Question number 12. The shape of methane molecule is tetrahedral. That is C, tetrahedral. Tetrahedral are simply represented by this. When you are looking at the 3D shape, it looks somehow this way. It looks this way. And you have the hydrogen. This is a tetrahedral shape of methane molecule. Tetrahedral shapes of methane. The angle here is usually 109 degrees. 109 degrees approximately. So tetrahedral shape is the shape of a molecule of methane. Question number 13. 1 mole contains 6.02 times 10 raised to the power 23 particles. This is what we call Avogadro's number. This is what we call Avogadro. This was proposed by Avogadro. Avogadro proposed that the number of particles in 1 mole of any substance, be it solid, liquid, or gas, or solid or liquid, be it element or molecule, the number of particles that will be present in 1 mole of any substance. Like I said, it could be solid or liquid or gas, it could be an element or compound. The number of particles is given as 6.02 times 10 raised to the power 23. So 1 mole of any compound contains, 1 mole of any substance contains that number of particles according to Avogadro's concepts. The particles could be atoms, which are usually elements. It could be molecules. Molecules can be attached to elements. You can have molecules of an element like oxygen, hydrogen, those that are gaseous. You can talk about molecules of a compound like molecules of water. So 1 mole of water contains this specified number of molecules. 1 mole of oxygen gas contains that number of molecules. 1 mole of sodium as a metal contains that number of atoms. So according to Avogadro, the number of particles in 1 mole is 6.02 times 10 raised to the power 23. That is option A. Question number 14. Blue litmus paper turns red in what? That is acid. Option C. We are familiar with litmus tests. There are 2 different colors of litmus paper. We have blue and red precisely. So if you are trying to identify a solution, an unknown solution, by using litmus paper, you dip the blue and do the red at the same time. The one that changes color will determine what that substance or that solution is. If I dip a blue litmus paper into an acid, it will turn red. If I dip red litmus paper into a base, it will turn blue. But if it is neutral, neither the blue nor the red litmus paper will change. That shows it is neutral. So when you are performing litmus paper tests, you must make sure that you test with the 2 papers, so that there will be fair inference. There will be fair inference. Don't just stay with 1 paper and make your conclusion. If it doesn't change red, it can change blue. If it doesn't change blue, it can change red. But if you trace with the 2 papers and the 2 papers do not change in color, it means the solution is neither acidic nor alkaline. It is neutral. But blue litmus paper will turn red inside an acid. The option is C. Question number 15. The direct conversion of solid to gas is called sublimation. Sublimation is when a solid is heated and it changes to gaseous state without passing through the liquid phase or state at all. Examples of solid that sublimes. solid that undergoes sublimation are those solids that have low melting point. They have low melting point below the normal room temperature. We have examples like iodine. We have sulfur. We have ammonium chloride. We have ammonium chloride. We have naphthalene. Sometimes we say camphor. So these are four common examples of solid that sublime. Subliming solid. When you heat these solids, they don't go through the liquid state at all. They change to their gaseous form, and on cooling they convert back to the solid. We call that one deposition. When a solid is heated and it changes directly to gaseous states on heating, it is sublimation. It can convert back on cooling to the solid form, which is going to be the pure sublimate. We call that one deposition. Sublimation from solid to gas, deposition from gaseous state to solid state back on cooling. Condensation, melting, and evaporation are not correct. So the correct one is option C. The formula for molarity is simply what we call molar concentration now. And molarity of a solution is defined as the amount of solutes present in 1 dm cube or 1000 cm cube of the solution. The amount of solutes per dm cube or 1000 cm cube of a solution is called molarity of that solution, which now is changed to molar concentration. And molar concentration or molarity is mole per, this is molarity, or what we call molar concentration now, which is expressed in mole per dm cube, is amount of solute in mole. So divide the mole, whatever the mole is given or is, by volume of solution, which is going to be 1 dm cube specifically. So the volume, when it is 1 dm cube, the amount that is present in 1 dm cube of the solution represent the molarity, or what we call molar concentration of that solution. So the correct answer is option A. Mass concentration is another type of concentration we measure the bar solution. Number 17. Which hydrocarbon is unsaturated? The answer, which hydrocarbon is unsaturated? Sorry, unsaturated, not saturated. Which hydrocarbon is unsaturated? The one that is unsaturated is C. Let me shed more light on this for better understanding. Don't forget what hydrocarbons are. Hydrocarbons are organic compounds. They are a group of organic compounds that are composed, that contains only carbon and nitrogen atoms in their molecules. Hydrocarbons are organic compounds that contains only, put that only there, only carbon and nitrogen atoms in their. There are other organic compounds that contain more than carbon and nitrogen, so we don't call them hydrocarbons. They are non-hydrocarbons in the like of alkanols, alkanoic acid, and the rest. But hydrocarbons are just a few group of organic compounds that the only elements in their molecules are carbon and hydrogen. And they can be classified into two groups based on whether they are saturated or unsaturated. For example, hydrocarbons, those that are unsaturated. For the saturated, the only saturated hydrocarbons are alkanes. they are alkanes. The others, be it aliphatic or aromatic, hydrocarbons that are saturated are aliphatic hydrocarbons, and they are saturated. There are three subdivisions of aliphatic. We have alkanes, alkenes, alkynes. Alkanes, alkenes, alkynes. But the ones that are saturated, are the alkanes. The unsaturated ones, we have alkenes, we have alkynes, and we also have the aromatic. Those are the family of benzene related compounds that are hydrocarbon, aromatic hydrocarbons. The first three of them, the first three members, benzene, we have naphthalene, and we have anthracene. These are the first three members of the aromatic hydrocarbon series. Benzene is the first member, the simplest. So for the unsaturated, these are the unsaturated. And which one is here? We don't have benzene, we don't have aromatic here. So the only one that satisfies the question is, that answer the question, is option C, ethene. Ethene is an unsaturated hydrocarbon that contains the presence of a double bond between the two carbon atoms in the molecule. Generally, unsaturated hydrocarbons are hydrocarbons that contains the presence of at least a double or a triple covalent bond between two adjacent carbon atoms in their molecule. So when you see double bonds or triple bond between carbon atoms in a carbon chain in a molecule of a compound, you know that that compound is unsaturated, either hydrocarbon or non-hydrocarbon. Once you see double bond or triple bond between two carbon atoms in the carbon chain, it signifies that it is unsaturated. So ethene is the correct answer, option C. The rest are alkanes. Ethene is an alkane. The electronic arrangement of sodium. The electron arrangement of sodium is option A. Sodium is number 11, and it has three shells. It has three concentric shells. This is the diagram representing an atom of sodium. So we have two electrons. We have 8 electrons on the second shell, and the valence shell is 1. So we have 2 on the first shell, 8 on the second shell, and 1 on the last shell, which is called the valence electron. So the option A is correct. Option 2, that is for group 2. For option C, that's for group 1. Sodium, option A and option C, they belong to the same group. They belong to the same group. Anyway, we shall be talking about that next time. If you meet a question on that, I will expatiate more. So for this question, the correct electronic configuration or electronic structure of a sodium atom is 281, option A. Question number 19. Matter can neither be created nor destroyed. This is a law we call conservation of mass or matter. The other options are gas laws. Boyle's law, Charles' law, Avogadro's law, they are Charles' law. But the law of conservation of mass or matter is one of the laws of chemical combination. There are two different things. Law of chemical combination, we have 3 of them. We have the law of conservation of mass or matter, which say that matter can neither be created nor destroyed. Matter can neither be created nor destroyed, but can be changed to another form during a chemical reaction, ordinary chemical reaction. We have the law of definite proportion or constant composition. And we also have the law of multiple proportion. Those 3 are under law of chemical combinations in chemistry. But the other options, they are categorized as gas laws. The laws that describe or explain the behavior and properties of gases. So we have Boyle's law, Charles' law, Avogadro's law, and the other ones. So for this, the correct answer is C. Question number 20. Acid and base produces what? That is the reaction between acid and base. Acid reacts with base to produce what? This is what we call neutralization reaction. And the products are salt and water only. The correct option is C. The correct option is C. So these are the first 20 questions we are going to solve now. I want you to look forward to the continuation of this, the JAMB Chemistry question 2026 question and answers, and with the explanations. For your inquiries, or you want to find out about online classes, we do online classes, you can just contact me through the WhatsApp numbers shown above at the beginning, or you can make a direct call. I'll be expecting you. Always share my videos with other friends, your schoolmates that needs help in chemistry and other sciences, and try to make your comments. I've been interested in seeing our comment in the comment sections. Share, like this video, subscribe to my channel. God bless you. So look forward for the continuation of this expository question and answers of JAMB 2026.